standing strong and tall. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made. Yeah, this is the bovine coming on the air, sharing the stories of the folks who care. Profiles of passion, voices of the trade, dairy strong legends being made.
Hey there, dairy innovators. Welcome back to the Bovine Podcast. I'm your host, and today I've got a story that's going to completely flip everything you think you know about dairy genetics on its head. Picture this. You're spending thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars every year buying the latest and greatest genetics from the top farms around the world. Meanwhile, there's a quiet operation in Drumbo, Ontario that hasn't bought a single animal in over 60 years. And guess what? They're absolutely crushing it with 13,100 kilogram averages and a wall full of national awards. This is the story of Larenwood Farms and Chris McLaren, a story that proves the dairy industry's obsession with purchasing elite genetics is fundamentally flawed. Imagine that crisp morning scene at Larenwood Farms. The sun hasn't even risen yet, but there's Chris McLaren, already making his rounds through a barn where 110 Holstein cows represent decades of meticulous breeding decisions. Steam rises from their breath in the cool air while the gentle hum of milking machines creates this soothing backdrop to a daily rhythm that's been playing out here since 1852. This isn't just any farm, folks. This is living history with cutting-edge science folded into every corner. Now, when you walk into their farm office, you can't miss the wall of awards. I'm talking plaques and shields everywhere. Multiple National Herd Management Awards, the coveted Holstein Canada Master Breeder Shield. These aren't just decorations gathering dust. They're milestones in a journey that perfectly blends old-school farming wisdom with the kind of innovation you'd expect from a tech startup, not a 163-year-old family operation. So let me tell you Chris's story. Our family has been on this farm site for 163 years, he says with the kind of smile that speaks volumes about his connection to the land. Our relatives on my grandmother's side moved here in 1852 and settled this property, and we've continuously had our family on this site ever since. I'm the 6th generation, and Haley, Joel, and Dana are the 7th generation to live on this farm site. Walking the property with Chris, you can't help but feel the weight of decisions made by farmers long gone. What started as a typical mixed farm gradually evolved into dairy specialization about 50 years ago. Now it spans roughly 700 acres, producing all the feed their livestock needs. But here's where it gets interesting. The real game changer for Larenwood came in 2012. That's when they built their new milking facility, designed for 126 milking cows and 24 dry cows. Chris remembers that transition like it was yesterday. The morning after we moved the cows into the new barn, I remember standing in the feed alley just watching them, he recalls with the kind of enthusiasm you'd expect from someone describing their first sports car, not a dairy facility. They adapted quickly to the sand bedding and free stalls. Within hours, they were more comfortable than ever. That moment reinforced everything we believed about putting cow comfort first. Now, what makes Chris such an interesting character in the dairy world? It's this rare combination of dirt under the fingernails farming experience and serious academic credentials. His path took him through the University of Guelph's Ontario Agricultural College and then to Ontario Veterinary College, where he earned a master's degree working with Dr. Ken Leslie's research group. That's not exactly the typical resume you expect from someone driving a feed truck at dawn, right? My time at the University of Guelph opened my eyes to the vast knowledge and understanding that research can have on improving the dairy farm, Chris shared. My time at OVC with Dr. Ken Leslie's research group allowed me to see how important research is to our farm and the industry. I am still in contact with many of his students and faculty for advice or to participate in research projects. This science-forward approach is evident in everything at Larenwood. Chris doesn't just review data, he interprets it through the lens of those academic foundations. Here's what's remarkable about their approach. Science insights are used every day in every decision we make, Chris emphasizes with the conviction of someone who's seen the direct benefits. We're always looking to see what research says about management decisions. We always challenge salespeople to show us the research. We won't buy products or make management changes unless there's proof it works. Think about that for a second. How many of us actually challenge salespeople to show us the research? Most of us just take their word for it. Now let's talk about those awards. The Wall of Achievements at Larenwood tells a story few farms can match. They snagged the National DHI Herd Management Award for 3 consecutive years, 2014, 2015, and 2016. In 2021, they placed 7th among Canada's best-managed dairy herds. But the crown jewel? That 2019 Holstein Canada Master Breeder Shield. That's dairy farming's equivalent of an Oscar. When asked which award meant the most, Chris didn't hesitate. It's hard to pick between the Herd Management Award from Lactanet and Master Breeder. Both have been our goals for many years. To have accomplished both in such a short time is extremely gratifying. This is especially true since we are a closed herd, and all improvements have been made through good management and breeding decisions over the long term. Let me put this in perspective for you. Most farms need decades to achieve just one of these recognitions. Larenwood knocked out both in quick succession. That's like winning a marathon and then immediately acing a triathlon. The numbers behind these achievements are just as impressive. They milk 110 to 115 cows with an average 305-day milk production of 13,100 kilograms. First lactation cows average 11,100 kilograms. Second lactation cows hit 13,600 kilograms. And third lactation cows reach a whopping 14,200 kilograms. Fat content, 4.5%. Protein, 3.3%. And get this, their somatic cell count is just 48,000. If you know dairy, you know that's ridiculously low and speaks volumes about their milk quality. Chris has this great analogy for dairy farming. Managing a dairy herd is like juggling many balls in the air simultaneously and hoping not to drop any. If we drop a ball, we want to know why and how we can improve next time. That's the mindset that separates good farms from great ones. Now, before building their 2012 facility, Chris became what I like to call a barn tourist. He visited farms across North America and internationally to cherry-pick the best ideas. I did a lot of touring nationally, locally, and internationally. I went to many meetings and events and learned from many great producers. What strikes me about Chris's approach is how he watches his cows. You can tell so much just by watching, he says with the insight of someone who truly understands these animals. Are they comfortable in the stalls? Are they spending enough time lying down? Are they eating aggressively at the bunk? These observations tell me more than any computer data could. One principle trumped all others throughout the facility design process: cow comfort. Focusing on cow comfort and keeping the cow as the center of the facility is important and key to getting the most from those cows, Chris emphasizes. This isn't just talk. Every detail, from the 48-inch stalls with sand bedding to the ventilation system, was designed around what makes cows happy. Chris's father, Grant, has this brilliant philosophy: the best cow in the barn is one you don't know you have. Isn't that perfect? It captures their goal perfectly. Create an environment where cows thrive without constant intervention, freeing up the team to focus on improvement rather than putting out fires. The proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the milk. Since moving to the new facility, Larenwood has seen dramatic decreases in lameness and metabolic disorders while production has soared. By mid-morning at Larenwood, feed delivery takes center stage. Chris's approach to nutrition reflects the same scientific mindset he brings to everything else. I treat the dairy cow like she's an athlete, he explains. The athlete needs good genetics. You need good feed, you need good management, you need good prevention, and you need a good team around you. And that's kind of the philosophy we use when dealing with cows and everything that we do. The daily dance between Chris and Grant is something to behold. Grant typically handles the feed mixing, drawing on decades of experience, while Chris contributes insights from milk production data and health observations. It's a perfect blend of expertise and analysis. Their nutritional program isn't complicated, but it is precise. The total mixed ration uses about 60% corn silage and 40% haylage on a dry matter basis, plus high moisture corn, roasted soybeans, and a specialized protein blend. Now here's where things get really interesting. By mid-morning, Chris often shifts to the most fascinating aspect of Larenwood's operation, their genomic breeding program. Despite being a closed herd for over 60 years, meaning they haven't purchased outside animals, they've achieved remarkable genetic advancement through strategic breeding decisions. A turning point in our farm's genetics was when we started testing every animal with genomics, Chris explains with the enthusiasm of someone who's found a secret weapon. This technology gives us another tool to find the cows that will contribute to producing better cattle. The improvement and consistency of the herd has been incredible. Want proof? Let me share their production data by Lifetime Profit Index rankings. Cows with LPI values of 3,447 averaged 11,636 kilograms of milk. Those with LPI of 3,236 averaged 11,639 kilograms. The 3,069 group hit 11,786 kilograms, and even the lowest group at 2,808 LPI still averaged 11,574 kilograms. What does this mean in plain English? Cows with higher LPI consistently produce more milk with better components while maintaining healthier udders. For a commercial dairy, these differences translate directly to the bottom line. Here's how Chris balances technology with tradition. Genomics is a tool just as pedigree knowledge is, he explains. Genomics allows you to see animals and pedigrees needing more improvement or focus. However, having that knowledge of the pedigree and what has worked in a family helps to select bulls that complement cows. Their breeding philosophy is refreshingly straightforward. Make the daughter better than the mother. Each cow is bred by examining the linear traits of both cow and bull to find complementary matches. The results speak for themselves. Take their H family progression. Larenwood Air Intake Homer 903 scored 85 points in fourth lactation with 2,478 LPI and 14,770 kilograms. Her daughter Larenwood Alligator Homer 1123 scored 91 points in third lactation with 3,116 LPI and 15,130 kilograms. The next generation, Larenwood Ranger Red Homer 1269, scored 85 points in first lactation with 3,561 LPI and 11,830 kilograms. You should see Chris when he talks about these cow families. His face lights up as he points out subtle improvements in udder texture, teat placement, and dairy strength that would escape the casual observer but represent decades of careful decisions. This focused breeding work has also produced outstanding bulls, now available through artificial insemination. Larenwood Maximum with 3,553 LPI and Larenwood PG Monumental with 3,839 LPI represent the culmination of generations of careful breeding. Having bulls in AI is a validation of our breeding philosophy, Chris says with justifiable pride. But more importantly, we know these bulls will create the kind of trouble-free, productive cows that commercial dairy farmers need to be profitable in today's challenging environment. By afternoon, Chris typically focuses on reproductive management, probably the least glamorous but most crucial aspect of dairy farming. Their move to the new facility in 2012 brought unexpected benefits in this area. We noticed when we came into the new barn that getting cows pregnant was improved. Seeing cows move around and technologies all helped. Through careful analysis and consultation with advisors, they've achieved a pregnancy rate of 28%. That's significantly above the provincial average. Their breeding strategy is surgical in its precision. 25% of heifers are bred with sex semen, 25% are recipients, and 50% get conventional semen. The milking herd gets 10% sex to heifers, the bottom 20% to beef, and the rest conventional semen. The stats are impressive. 70% insemination rate, 45% conception rate, 41% conception at first breeding, and 83% of cows pregnant by 150 days in milk. These numbers put Larenwood in elite company for reproductive performance. Chris describes his late afternoon rounds through the dry cow area. He examines each pregnant animal with the care of an expectant father, mentally planning their calving management and future breeding. Each pregnant cow represents not just future milk production, but the next step in our genetic plan, he explains. I'm already thinking about what bull might work best on her daughter before she's born. Talk about planning ahead. As evening approaches at Larenwood, Chris and Grant meet again to review the day and plan for tomorrow. Their collaborative management style exemplifies what family farming should be. I am involved in the overall management, genetics, and herd health. My dad is focused on the feeding and cropping, Chris explains. We both have input into all aspects, but have the area we are mostly focused on. We talk each morning to set the day's priorities. Chris's appreciation for his father's mentorship shines through in every conversation. My biggest mentor and advisor would be my dad. He is supportive of all the changes we make. He is very thoughtful and analytical of every decision to ensure we make the correct choice. The most fascinating thing about Larenwood might be how they blend 6 generations of farming wisdom with cutting-edge scientific knowledge. As a 60-plus-year closed herd with such deep family history, tradition runs in their soil. Yet they consistently embrace innovation that many newer operations miss. We're always learning from past experiences, which helps us learn and grow as dairy herd managers, Chris reflects. There's great value in listening to the past and not repeating mistakes. However, we're always open to new, well-researched ideas. You can see this balance in action during breeding decisions. Chris might be consulting genomic data on his tablet while drawing on generational knowledge of cow families. The genomics tell me the numbers, but our family history with these cows tells me how they'll likely respond to different management approaches. You need both perspectives to make the best decisions. Now, no farm reaches Larenwood's level without facing serious challenges. When asked how he maintains motivation through setbacks, Chris's answer reveals the mindset that's propelled their success. I always try to do my best in everything that I do. There is always room for improvement, and that is what motivates me. Failure or an issue is a challenge to fix that problem and be successful. The McLaren's approach to challenges is methodical and research-driven. By doing the proper research and asking lots of questions before we change something, we believe we make the correct decision at that moment, and few mistakes are made, Chris explains. So what's next for Larenwood? Here's what's fantastic about this operation. They don't just talk about improvements, they make them happen. That tie stall barn renovation for automatic calf feeders, they completed that project in 2022. That new heifer facility, they built it in 2023. The combination of the calf barn, the heifer barn, and better genetics all contributed to almost 1,000 kilograms per lactation more milk for the first lactation animals, Chris says with well-deserved pride. Can you imagine that kind of improvement? We're talking about first calf heifers producing an extra 1,000 kilograms of milk each. That's the power of combining facility improvements with genetic advancement. So what's actually on the horizon for Larenwood now? Something even more exciting. We are renovating our milking barn for robotic milking, Chris explains. This is the next evolution of Larenwood, from tie stall to freestall, now robotic. The robotic milking system isn't just fancy new technology, it fundamentally changes the relationship between cow and caretaker. This will allow for a more stress-free barn that allows the cow to be milked as often as she chooses. This will increase the milk production per cow from the current twice-daily milking. Think about what this means for the cows. Instead of being herded to the parlor on a strict schedule, they can decide when they want to be milked. Some might go 3 or 4 times daily, especially in peak lactation. It's cow-centered farming taken to the next level. As the day winds down at Larenwood, Chris makes his final barn check under the soft night lighting. In these quiet moments, he often reflects on the journey and what wisdom he might pass along. His advice for young farmers is worth its weight in gold. Learn from as many people as you can. Don't be afraid of asking questions from those that are better than you. Learn from them, and you will be surprised by how many people are willing to answer all your questions. He emphasizes patience and persistence. Long-term consistent success does not happen overnight. Stay patient and focused on your goals. And his most important principle, but most of all, always keep the cow at the forefront of everything you do. This advice encapsulates the Larenwood approach: humble learning, long-term vision, and unwavering commitment to animal welfare. It's how 6 generations have built one of Canada's most respected dairy operations. As darkness settles over Larenwood Farms, the barn lights dim, and the rhythmic sound of contented cows chewing their cud creates a peaceful backdrop that belies the sophisticated operation behind the scenes. This place, this remarkable blend of heritage and innovation, stands as living proof of what's possible when family wisdom meets scientific precision. From genomic testing to facility design, from their award-winning breeding program to their meticulous attention to cow health, every aspect of Larenwood reflects a commitment to excellence that spans generations. Those national awards aren't just decorations. They're external validation of an approach that puts cows first while embracing science and tradition. What makes Larenwood's story so compelling isn't just the impressive statistics or the wall of awards. It's the values guiding their success for over 160 years. Putting the cow first, embracing continuous improvement, making data-driven decisions, and maintaining that long-term perspective that seems increasingly rare today. In an era of agricultural consolidation and economic pressure, Larenwood is a testament to the enduring power of thoughtful, knowledge-based farming. Chris McLaren and his family have created an award-winning dairy operation by honoring their rich heritage while embracing scientific advancement. So here's my challenge to you, listeners. The next time someone tries to sell you the latest and greatest genetics, ask yourself this question. If a 60-year closed herd can achieve 13,100 kilogram averages through internal breeding decisions, what's stopping you from developing your own genetic powerhouse? Maybe it's time we stopped buying our way to genetic progress and started building it ourselves, just like Chris McLaren and the remarkable team at Larenwood Farms. That's our show for today. If this story challenged your thinking about dairy genetics, I'd love to hear from you. Drop us a line at the Bullvine, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge conventional dairy wisdom. Until next time, keep questioning, keep improving, and never forget to put the cow first.